Tell me about a specific prospect call you had in which the prospect wasn't talking much. And specifically, what was the scenario and what did you do to get them to be more engaging? How do you get them to talk more? How do you get them to engage with you? That question asks for a specific example, not how would you do it or how do you typically do it, but rather give me a specific example of what you did and how you got that prospect to be more engaging and open up.
What their hobbies are, what do they do outside of work. So I want to hear if people say, well, I'm in a band, or I love sports, I follow fantasy football. Whatever it might be, I want to hear, because certain things give you tendencies about the individual that you wouldn't pick up with a straight resume Q&A. Some of my best reps are artist types, musicians. They're very creative. They're able to have conversations that go in different directions. They're able to think on their feet differently. And it's a trait that I just discovered over time.
What is the most recent sales book that you've read? And what do you do personally for your professional development? You're able to get a good sense for this individual, what he or she does really to grow themselves as good salespeople. And if they can't come up with some good takeaways from the book or give me a good sense that they've read something within the last 3 to 4 months, then this is probably an individual that I may not be interested in continuing on with this interview process.
One characteristic that I measure during the interview is competitiveness. And one of the simple questions that I like to ask is, when was the last time you were competitive? Now, here's the key. Get specifics. Dig deep. Find multiple stories from that candidate. What you'll find is that a lot of candidates will say, you have to be competitive to be successful in sales. I'm always competitive in sales. But what you need to do is say then, great, tell me a recent story. If you ask this question and dig deep for specifics, you'll know if you have a truly competitive person or not.
How do you respond to new information that your competition is meeting an important prospect in person? This question may be important because more and more employers are looking to use technologies today and incur greater efficiencies by having the inside salespeople be just that, inside, but sometimes the price point reaches a point where it warrants an in-person visit. At least the competition thinks so, and maybe even your prospect. So it's a question that may want to be addressed.
At the end of the interview, I like to ask the question, what didn't we cover that you'd like to discuss? It gives the candidate the opportunity to bring closure to the interview. It also lets you see if they can think on their feet, and sometimes it gives you insight into what their priorities are. Like the time a guy said, how many vacation days do we get?